Right now, a ton of players are trying to push their first prestiges, whether it's prestige 1, 2, or even 3, but most of them are doing it the hard way. The truth is that some of the brawlers make the grind way easier than others, and after pushing every brawler myself, I started noticing a few that consistently make the grind much easier. So in this video, I'll show you exactly which brawler you should be focusing on, and make sure you stay until the end because the last one on the list is actually one of the easiest prestige pushes in the entire game right now. So like the video and let's get into it. But before we jump into the list, it's important to understand what actually makes a brawler easy to prestige. And for that, we need to take a look at the current meta. If you've been paying attention to recent brawler releases, balance changes, and buffy updates, you can clearly notice a pattern. Right now, the easiest brawler to prestige are the ones that can single-handedly carry games, win their matchups consistently, and work well in multiple modes. And one brawler that fits this perfectly right now is BB. If you've played even a single game after the new updates, you've probably noticed the massive spike in BB usage, and that's not without reason. She's currently one of, if not the strongest brawler in the game, and thanks to her buffies. And when it comes to game modes, BB is also extremely flexible right now. The most common place to play her right now is easily Brawl Ball, where her speed and knockback made her an amazing for both scoring and controlling the map. She's also very strong in modes like Hot Zone or Jam Grab, where she can consistently pressure the enemy team and force them to back up. But if you're trying to push prestige as fast as possible, Knockout is by far the best option. For the best build on BB, run the healing gadget, the movement speed, star power, and shield with damage gears. This setup makes her much harder to take down while letting her consistently pressure enemies in fights, especially with her buffies. Not only she can destroy teams almost by herself, but she can also carry teammates that pair well with her. We've talked about more of these comps in another video, which I'll put on the screen, and even though BB has already received a few well-deserved nerfs, trust me, it barely changed anything. She is still incredibly strong, which is why she's at the top of this list. But BB isn't the only brawler dominating right now. Another brawler that has been completely taking over games recently is Sirius, and the reason why he's so strong right now is actually pretty simple. His shadow mechanic lets him easily outnumber opponents, forcing them to retreat and waste their ammo dealing with his shadows. And while they focus on that, Sirius gets full control of the game. At the time I'm recording this, Sirius hasn't received any nerfs yet, which means he's easily one of the strongest brawlers in the game. And because most players aren't still fully used to playing against him, a lot of matches end up being much easier than they should be. And when it comes to game modes, the crazy part is that Sirius works almost everywhere. He's an extremely versatile brawler that can perform well on nearly any map or mode thanks to his double attack type. So this means you don't need to wait for specific rotations to push him. You can just queue in almost any time and still get gold results. For the best build on Sirius, the most common used gadget to run is the second one, which pulls his shadow back to him and heals them, letting you keep pressure in fights for longer and gives you time to stack even more clones. The first gadget can still work in certain situations, but the second one is generally the safer option. For the star power, the second one is by far the best, and for the gears, you should run shield and damage to make sure Sirius is harder to take down while increasing his damage. When playing Sirius, the key is not just spawning shadows, but keeping them alive for as long as possible. Instead of sending them straight into fights, try stacking them while slowly pressuring the enemy team. Once you have multiple shadows active, fight becomes much easier because the opponents are forced to waste ammo dealing with them before they can even focus you. And if you're enjoying this guide so far or learning something new, drop a like and tell me in the comments which brawler you're trying to push right now. I'm curious to see what most people are going for this season. But the next brawler on the list is another one that becomes incredibly easy to push once you understand how to play him: Rico. Rico has always been strong, but now he's one of the easiest brawlers to push because of the new tank meta. Since his projectiles bounce off walls, he can consistently deal damage while staying completely safe behind cover. And because most tanks rely on getting close to deal damage, Rico can slowly chip down before they can even reach him, making it extremely difficult for enemies to push forward without losing a huge amount of health. Because of that, Rico becomes especially strong on maps with a ton of walls. Modes like Knockout, Brawl Ball, and some of Haste maps are perfect for him because he can control tight areas and constantly pressure enemies from safe positions. When playing Rico, the biggest mistakes player makes is pushing too aggressively. Instead, you should focus on locking down angles and forcing enemies to walk into your bounce shots. Once you control the lane, it becomes extremely hard for opponents to push forward. For the best build on Rico, run the multi-ball launcher gadget, the super bouncy star power, and damage with shield gears. This setup gives you much more damage in maps with a bunch of walls while still keeping you safe in longer fights. But Rico isn't the only brawler benefiting from the current meta. Another brawler that has become extremely strong for pushing prestiges right now is Crow. Crow has always been known for his poison and control, but with the most recent batch of buffies, he became much stronger at securing kills and surviving longer fights. His extra poison consistently pressures enemies and makes it extremely hard for them to heal, which already gives your team a huge advantage in matches. And what makes Crow even better right now is that he directly counters the other current buffy metas. Since a lot of teams are running tankier brawlers, Crow constant poison slowly chips them down and prevents them from healing, making it much harder for them to push forward. So because of this, Crow performs especially well in modes like Knockout, Bounty, and sometimes even Brawl Ball, where his constant poison pressures can slowly destroy the entire enemy team. For the best build on Crow, run the slowing toxin gadget, the extra toxic star power, and shield with damage gears. This build maximizes Crow's control while making him much harder to eliminate. And another big advantage of these picks is that they don't just help you push themselves, they can also help your teammates push their brawlers, because BB, Sirius, Rico, and Crow can control games so consistently they make it much easier for your entire team to win matches and climb trophies together. So if you're looking for teammates and friends, check out the Discord in the comments or from the bio. And if this guide helped you out, make sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss the next meta update or pushing guides.